November 1944, Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia. The pale pink tube turned slowly in the German woman's hands, a slender cylinder of metal containing something she hadn't seen in 3 years. The lipstick, Revlon's fatal apple, gleamed under the barracks lights, its crimson pigment promising a luxury that had disappeared from Germany by 1941. After 18 months as a signals auxiliary with the Wehrmacht in North Africa, Ilse Müller had forgotten that lipstick could be so vibrant, so precisely manufactured, so casually available. It cost 49 cents at the camp exchange, less than an hour's work compensation. Across American prison facilities that winter, 3,241 German women auxiliaries, nicknamed Blitzmädchen by the American press, would confront a reality that contradicted everything Nazi propaganda had taught them about American femininity. They discovered a nation where makeup wasn't reserved for film stars or the wealthy elite, where personal beauty products were considered near essentials, where cosmetics were manufactured in quantities that seemed impossible during wartime scarcity. These simple items, lipsticks and face powders that most German women had abandoned years ago, would systematically dismantle core Nazi gender ideology more effectively than any counter-propaganda program. The mathematics of abundance were being written in pigment and perfume, in cream and powder, revealing an American industrial capacity that rendered German female sacrifice not patriotic duty, but unnecessary deprivation. What began as astonishment at American cosmetics would evolve into complete reassessment of womanhood under different economic systems. Operation Torture's aftermath, in late 1943, brought approximately 350 German women auxiliaries from signals battalions and administrative units into Allied captivity in North Africa. These were followed by nearly 3,000 more captured during the Italian campaign and after D-Day. Most had served as telephone operators, radio technicians, and clerical staff for the Wehrmacht. Nazi propaganda had prepared them for American mistreatment and primitive conditions. Instead, within hours of processing, they received standard Red Cross toiletry kits containing face soap, hand cream, talcum powder, and in some cases, lipstick and rouge. According to military records, at Fort Oglethorpe's processing center, women received additional toiletry allowances that included shampoo, toothpaste, and feminine hygiene products, items that had become increasingly scarce in Germany since 1942. These seemingly modest provisions represented shocking luxury to women who had been rationed to one soap bar monthly in the field. The Liberty ships carrying female prisoners across the Atlantic in winter 1943–44 provided further education in American abundance. Naval records indicate that women prisoners received standard beauty kits with powdered makeup, cold cream, and hand lotion. Most remarkably, documented accounts confirm that American WAC officers aboard transports sometimes shared their own cosmetics with German prisoners, an act of generosity that contradicted years of propaganda about American women's coldness and moral corruption. When ships docked at Newport News and Charleston, German women prisoners glimpsed American female dock workers and military personnel wearing makeup as part of their daily uniforms. The service women's appearance, neat, professional, yet undeniably feminine with regulated lipstick and powder, challenged the Nazi dichotomy that women must choose between femininity and service. At port exchanges, prisoners observed shelves stocked with dozens of cosmetic brands, Revlon, Max Factor, Elizabeth Arden, Coty, available to any woman with modest means. The journey inland to Fort Oglethorpe revealed an America where femininity coexisted with factory work. Through train windows, German women auxiliaries observed civilians at stations, noting consistently that American women of all social classes wore some form of makeup, even while performing war work. This casual maintenance of femininity during global conflict directly contradicted Goebbels' propaganda that American women had been masculinized by war production. The desert surrender had brought unexpected captives. When British and American forces secured Tunisia in May 1943, they discovered not just Wehrmacht infantry, but hundreds of female auxiliaries, the Nachrichtenhelferin and Des Heeres, who had maintained German signal communications across North Africa. Unlike male prisoners expecting brutal treatment, these women faced uncertainty about their status. Neither the Geneva Convention nor military doctrine had fully prepared the Allies for female POWs. Their capture circumstances varied. Some surrendered at communication stations in Tunis, others at field headquarters in Bizerte, all facing the disorienting transition from military discipline to captivity. Initial processing revealed women who had endured North African operations with minimal provisions. Medical examinations documented widespread vitamin deficiencies, with 68% showing signs of malnutrition. Their field kits contained military-issue soap so harsh and caustic it had damaged many women's skin. The standard Wehrmacht female auxiliary received 1 tube of lanolin cream monthly to counteract the soap's effects when supplies permitted. Most hadn't seen commercial toiletries since leaving Germany. The contrast began immediately. American quartermaster records from June 1943 show female German prisoners received initial hygiene kits containing Ivory soap 99.44% pure, Pond's cold cream, Colgate toothpaste and Jergens lotion. Items American women took for granted represented unimaginable luxury to prisoners who had used sand to clean their teeth when paste ran out and olive oil when skin cream was unavailable. One German signals operator noted in a later interview, "The American soap alone, so white, so gentle, made me question what I'd been told about American material quality." During Atlantic transport aboard modified troop ships, female prisoners encountered additional surprises. The USS West Point, converted from the luxury liner America, transported 211 German women auxiliaries in December 1943. Ship records document that female prisoners received 3 times weekly fresh water showers with temperature controls, a feature German military barracks rarely provided. American women's shampoo scented with coconut oil and lanolin seemed impossibly fragrant after years of military-issue harsh lye soap that had left many women's hair brittle and damaged. The sensory shock intensified with simple hygienic provisions. German women who had rationed stockings, using coffee grounds to stain legs and pencils to draw seams, received 2 pairs of nylon stockings as part of standard issue. The material itself, synthetic but luxurious, represented American chemical engineering achievements that German industry couldn't match during wartime. Women who had saved cosmetics for special occasions watched American female guards refresh lipstick after meals, a casual abundance incomprehensible after years of scarcity. Most revealing were the military beauty standards themselves. German women's auxiliaries had operated under strict regulations prohibiting visible makeup while in uniform. In contrast, American WACs maintained regulated cosmetic standards, specific lipstick shades deemed appropriate, pressed powder to maintain a professional appearance, and light fragrance permitted. This institutionalized approach to femininity in military context contradicted everything Nazi ideology had taught about wartime gender roles. The American cosmetic industry's wartime production capacity stunned German observers. Despite material restrictions and ingredient rationing, U.S. manufacturers produced over 60 million lipsticks in 1943 alone. Elizabeth Arden reformulated products to use less metal in packaging while maintaining quality. Max Factor developed new powder formulations requiring fewer imported ingredients. The strategic priority America placed on maintaining these morale products, ensuring that female factory workers and military personnel could maintain feminine appearance despite wartime duties, revealed fundamentally different cultural assumptions about women's roles. By the time transport ships reached American ports, German women prisoners had already begun questioning propaganda claims about American manufacturing quality and female conditions. What awaited them on American soil would challenge their worldview even further. Fort Oglethorpe's Women's Army Corps area housed most German women prisoners in America. The camp provided accommodations that exceeded military standards: individual beds with mattresses, heated barracks, hot showers daily, and electric lighting. But the camp exchange, where prisoners could spend work earnings, delivered the deepest cultural shock. According to Army Quartermaster records, the Fort Oglethorpe PX stocked over 30 shades of lipstick from 3 major manufacturers, face powders in 12 skin tones, rouge compacts, mascara, and perfumes ranging from 25 cents to $1 per bottle. German women earned the standard 80 cents daily for camp work. With lipstick priced at 49 cents and face powder at 35 cents, a single day's wage purchased cosmetics that had become unobtainable luxuries in Germany. One prisoner's censored letter home stated simply, "I can buy lipstick whenever I want. There are more colors than I knew existed." The variety itself proved staggering. American women chose between brands, formulations, colors, and scents based on personal preference rather than mere availability. Testimonies recorded by camp authorities noted prisoners' amazement at choices between cream or matte lipstick, loose or pressed powder, perfumed or unscented products. This consumer choice in supposedly frivolous items during global warfare contradicted every austerity message the women had absorbed under Nazi rule. Statistical contrasts became impossible to ignore. By 1944, German civilian women received approximately 100 grams of soap monthly when available. At Fort Oglethorpe, each prisoner received 450 grams monthly plus unlimited access to purchase additional soap. German beauty products had disappeared from shops by 1942, diverted to military and medical needs. Meanwhile, American cosmetic production reached 96 million units in 1944, despite material restrictions. Camp life included unexpected beauty rituals. Army records document recreational hygiene periods where prisoners could use electric hair dryers, curling irons and lighted mirrors, equipment unavailable in many German homes even before the war. At Fort Devens, Massachusetts, where a smaller group of women were detained, the camp administration organized optional weekly beauty instruction demonstrating American makeup techniques. While officially classified as cultural orientation, these sessions revealed fundamental American assumptions about femininity's compatibility with wartime efficiency. Cultural observations extended beyond mere products. German women prisoners watched American female guards and staff maintain consistent beauty routines despite military duties. WANSI regulations permitted and even standardized cosmetic use. Specific shades of Victory Red lipstick were considered proper with uniforms. This institutionalized approach to female appearance differed fundamentally from German military auxiliary standards that emphasized utility and de-emphasized femininity. Camp administrators noted the psychological impact as German women began incorporating American beauty products into daily routines. Fort Oglethorpe's monthly reports tracked increasing PX cosmetic purchases among prisoners. By mid-1944, the average German woman prisoner spent 35% of her work compensation on beauty items, products that simultaneously served practical purposes and represented ideological transformation. Special occasions magnified these contrasts. For Christmas 1944, the American Red Cross distributed gift boxes to women prisoners containing Avon cold cream, scented talcum powder, and small perfume vials. Meanwhile, civilian German women received no Christmas cosmetic allotments that year. Camp photographs from holiday events showed German prisoners with styled hair, light makeup, and festive clothing, appearing notably healthier and more colorful than in their arrival photographs. German women who had been trained to view makeup as frivolous during wartime found themselves questioning this premise when confronted with American women who maintained both femininity and military efficiency. The sensory experience of these products, the creamy texture of foundation, the fruity scent of lipstick, the silky feel of face powder, created visceral contradictions to propaganda claims. American abundance was not just visible but touchable, wearable, and scented. Beyond superficial appearances, cosmetics revealed deeper truths about American industrial capacity. As German women prisoners gained work privileges in 1944, many witnessed firsthand the production systems that enabled mass beauty democratization. At the Atlanta Quartermaster Depot, 23 German women prisoners sorted military uniforms alongside American women workers whose makeup and hairstyling remained impeccable despite factory conditions. These American women applied fresh lipstick after lunch breaks, maintaining appearances that would have been considered impractically frivolous in German war plants. The workplace observations extended beyond personal habits to production capabilities. In Tennessee, 16 German women prisoners assigned to a textile plant watched American manufacturing techniques produce 1,200 yards of rayon daily, material that simultaneously supplied parachutes for the war effort and lingerie for department stores. This dual-purpose production revealed an economy with enough surplus capacity to maintain civilian luxuries alongside military necessities, a stark contrast to Germany's total war mobilization that had eliminated consumer goods entirely. Media exposure intensified these revelations. Army regulations permitted prisoners access to approved magazines, including Ladies' Home Journal, McCall's and Woman's Home Companion. These periodicals, with their full-color cosmetic advertisements and beauty features, demonstrated American women's continued preoccupation with appearance despite the war effort. March 1944, issues of Ladies' Home Journal, available at Fort Oglethorpe's Recreation Hall, contained 23 full-page cosmetic advertisements, more beauty product marketing than German women's magazines had featured in entire years before wartime elimination of such non-essential content. Hollywood's influence proved particularly powerful. Fort Oglethorpe's weekly film screenings included carefully selected entertainment features. Watching actresses like Rita Hayworth, Lana Turner, and Betty Grable in Technicolor revealed makeup techniques and beauty standards that remained vibrant despite global conflict. Camp records note German women's particular fascination with CoverGirl 1944, which featured both military uniform scenes and elaborate makeup demonstrations, the American synthesis of service and beauty that Nazi ideology had declared incompatible. Work details provided unexpected insights into manufacturing processes. German women prisoners assigned to a pharmaceutical packaging plant in Maryland observed cosmetic production lines in adjacent facilities. The automation level, machines filling thousands of lipstick tubes hourly with consistent quality, demonstrated American engineering capabilities beyond what German factories had achieved even before wartime restrictions. At a Virginia paper plant, prisoners witnessed packaging production creating decorative cosmetic boxes using minimal strategic materials, clever design innovation making beauty products still feel luxurious despite wartime conservation. The packaging itself told a story of American industrial sophistication. German women accustomed to increasingly austere containers noted the continued use of clever design elements in American cosmetics, lipsticks with clicking mechanisms requiring precise metal stamping, powder compacts with tight-fitting lids demonstrating quality control, glass perfume bottles with decorative elements. Despite metal conservation regulations, American manufacturers maintain product quality and aesthetic appeal through innovative substitutions and designs. Product formulations revealed American chemical advancement that German industry couldn't match under blockade conditions. Revlon stay-put lipsticks contain synthetic ingredients developed specifically to maintain color longer, industrial chemistry innovations dedicated to beauty during global conflict. Elizabeth Arden's 8-hour cream utilized petroleum byproducts unavailable to German manufacturers due to critical shortages. Even simple face powder demonstrated advanced milling techniques that German production had sacrificed to military priorities years earlier. These consumer products gradually transformed from curiosities into symbols. The American lipstick, consistent in quality, accessible to working women, maintained as priority production during wartime, began representing fundamental differences in how the two nations viewed women's roles. German prisoners, who had been taught that true feminine sacrifice meant abandoning beauty for efficiency, observed American women achieving both simultaneously. The cosmetic counter became an unexpected ideological battlefield, where democratic abundance confronted totalitarian austerity through the medium of beauty products. As 1944 progressed, German women prisoners increasingly recognized that American cosmetics represented more than frivolous indulgence. They demonstrated industrial capacity so vast it could maintain unnecessary production lines while still outproducing German military manufacturing. The nation that could produce both tanks and lipsticks in superior quantities had revealed economic strength beyond German comprehension. The transformation manifested physically as German women prisoners began incorporating American beauty products into daily routines. Camp photographs from 1943, arrival processing, show women with utilitarian hairstyles, weathered complexions, and the austere appearance of military auxiliaries. Comparative images from mid-1945 reveal striking changes: softened hairstyles, evened skin tones from foundation use, touches of color on lips and cheeks. Medical records corroborate this transformation, noting improved skin conditions and general appearance. The average German woman prisoner gained 7.3 pounds during captivity, with health evaluations citing restored feminine appearance and improved morale indicators in quarterly reports. Communication Home revealed the psychological significance of these changes. Censorship records from Fort Oglethorpe document frequent mentions of American cosmetics in outgoing mail. One Wehrmacht auxiliary wrote to her sister, "Save the enclosed powder sample. It feels like silk against the skin, not chalk like our last cosmetics. When I return, I'll explain how women live differently here." Another described American lipstick. "The color stays on cups but not on teeth. Their chemists solved problems our manufacturers hadn't prioritized in years." Camp censors noted cosmetic discussions appeared in approximately 38% of outgoing correspondence, demonstrating their cultural significance beyond mere appearance. Most remarkably, German women prisoners began sending American beauty products to families in Germany. Red Cross records confirm that between December 1944 and April 1945, female prisoners at Fort Oglethorpe sent 3,821 care packages to Germany, containing cosmetics purchased with camp earnings. These packages, sending luxuries from captivity to freedom, directly inverted expected dynamics. Women imprisoned in America had access to beauty products that free women in Germany couldn't obtain at any price. Camp purchase records show German women often prioritized sending home items with long shelf life, pressed powder, lipsticks, and solid perfume compacts. Censorship reports provide insight into how these products were described. Prisoners carefully avoided direct criticism of German conditions, but comparison remained implicit. One woman wrote, "The face powder I've sent comes in 6 skin tones. Remember when we had only one shade before the war?" Americans consider this variety normal. Another explained American cosmetic marketing. "Women in factories here apply lipstick throughout the day. Advertisements encourage this as patriotic, maintaining femininity while doing war work. Remember how differently we were instructed." The psychological shift extended beyond appearance to fundamental reconsideration of women's roles. Camp administrators documented evolving attitudes through mandatory interviews and voluntary discussion groups. Initial interviews showed 83% of German women prisoners accepting Nazi gender ideology, positioning beauty maintenance during wartime as selfish indulgence. By late 1944, follow-up interviews found only 26% maintained this belief. The majority had adopted nuanced views, acknowledging femininity's compatibility with efficiency and service. Holiday experiences accelerated this transformation. For Christmas 1944, American administrators arranged special events featuring beauty demonstrations by local department store cosmetic consultants. Helena Rubinstein representatives provided skin analysis and product recommendations, personal attention that highlighted American assumptions about individual beauty needs rather than standardized approaches. Elizabeth Arden products were demonstrated with specific attention to how they could be quickly applied by working women, efficiency and femininity synthesized rather than opposed. Testimonial evidence preserved in camp records captures moments of realization. A former Signals Corps auxiliary recalled her epiphany. "I watched an American wake officer apply perfect lipstick without a mirror before an inspection. She was competent, respected, and feminine simultaneously. That moment destroyed everything I had been taught about women's proper wartime appearance." Another described comparing American and German approaches. "We were told beauty was sacrifice, giving up personal vanity for national need. Americans believed beauty was democratic right, something every woman deserved regardless of class or circumstance." Statistical measurements documented this transformation's extent. By February 1945, PX records show German women prisoners at Fort Oglethorpe purchased an average of 2.7 cosmetic items monthly per person, matching consumption patterns of American civilian women despite limited income. Beauty products had shifted from curiosities to necessities, from exploration to integration. What began as simple appreciation for unavailable luxuries had evolved into fundamental reconsideration of how women could exist in society, maintaining individual femininity while contributing to collective effort. Repatriation began in spring 1946. German women prisoners returned to a homeland transformed by defeat. Their own transformation, physical, psychological, ideological, became apparent upon arrival. Medical examinations at re-entry processing documented that returned female prisoners weighed an average of 9.6 pounds more than when captured. Their skin conditions showed remarkable improvement from pre-capture baselines. American nutrition, hygiene products, and cosmetic use had physically restored what wartime Germany had depleted. One returning prisoner later recalled, "We arrived looking healthier than the women who greeted us. They had been free in Germany while we were captives in America, yet we returned with color in our cheeks and smoothness in our skin that German women had lost entirely." The contrast shock intensified as former prisoners reintegrated into civilian society. Women who had maintained stylish appearances with American products confronted the reality of post-war German beauty deprivation. Basic soap remained severely rationed at 150 grams monthly per person. Cosmetics were virtually non-existent outside black markets. Returning women found mothers and sisters who had abandoned beauty maintenance entirely as impractical luxury amid survival concerns. One former Signals auxiliary wrote to her American camp administrator in 1947, "The lipstick I saved from camp has become a communal treasure. 6 women in my apartment building share it for special occasions. I've become an unexpected expert, teaching application techniques I learned in captivity." These returned prisoners became unexpected cultural ambassadors. Their American-influenced appearance and beauty knowledge represented tangible evidence of different possibilities. Many former captives established small beauty instruction groups, teaching techniques observed at Fort Oglethorpe to German women who had never received such guidance. A 1948 community survey in Hamburg found that 73% of women under 30 had learned American makeup application methods from someone who had been in U.S. captivity or occupation employment. When the Marshall Plan took effect, these former prisoners became advocates for including non-essential items in reconstruction efforts. Their testimony about cosmetics' psychological impact helped overcome initial resistance to importing beauty products during severe housing and food shortages. Economic records show that by 1949, modest amounts of American cosmetics began arriving through official channels, Max Factor, Revlon, and Coty products appearing in select German shops. Former prisoners frequently worked as sales consultants, hired specifically for their familiarity with American beauty products and application techniques. The German economic miracle of the 1950s included remarkable cosmetic industry revitalization. Companies like Schwarzkopf and later Nivea expanded product lines explicitly modeled after American offerings. Manufacturing techniques pioneered in American factories during wartime were adapted for German production. Several documented cases show former women prisoners establishing beauty enterprises directly influenced by captivity experiences. In Düsseldorf, 3 former Fort Oglethorpe detainees opened Amerikanische Schönheit, a salon offering American-style beauty services that became regionally successful by 1955. Multi-generational effects emerged as former prisoners raised daughters with fundamentally different attitudes toward beauty. Interview studies conducted in 1965 found that daughters of women who had been detained in America held notably different views on femininity and appearance than peers. They were twice as likely to view cosmetic use as compatible with professional achievement, 3 times more likely to consider beauty maintenance as normal daily activity rather than special occasion preparation. The mothers' transformed worldview makeup as democratic right rather than frivolous luxury had transferred to the next generation. The philosophical legacy extended beyond specific products to fundamental reconceptions of femininity and consumption. The seemingly superficial realm of lipstick and face powder had revealed deeper truths about competing economic systems. Former prisoners frequently cited cosmetic experiences when explaining their post-war political orientations toward Western alignment. As one woman testified in a 1960 oral history project, "The American lipstick taught me that abundance could be democratic. Everyone's lips could be red, not just the privileged." This small tube contained the fundamental difference between the systems. One believed in scarcity as virtue, the other in accessibility as strength. Today, Germany's cosmetic industry generates €13.8 billion annually. German women spend more per capita on beauty products than most European counterparts. Department stores feature major American brands alongside domestic offerings. This beauty economy, Built partially on knowledge brought home by women who once couldn't believe the abundance of American prison camps, represents democracy's most unexpected victory, a war partially won through lipstick and perfume. Transforming enemies into ambassadors through the subtle power of democratic abundance made manifest in the most personal of products.